Arabian Nights. What's back, everybody? Probably going to cut that out. Welcome back to the Movie Date Podcast, a podcast for people who like movies but don't want to be smug about it. I am Rob.
And I'm Emmett.
And we are going over, if you didn't guess by the theme song that I just sang, Mary Poppins Part 2. No, Aladdin. We're doing Aladdin. Doing the new Aladdin. I mean, I guess technically we're doing the old Aladdin too. We'll probably talk about that too. Kind of have to.
I mean, yeah, kind of. You can't use. There's comparisons to make here.
Nicholas, Disney's remaking all their movies, and I'm just over here waiting. When are they going to remake Treasure Planet? To Treasure Planet.
Was that a Disney movie?
Yes,
it was.
It was. It didn't make a lot of money, which is why they kind of they had a sequel set up for it. They never finished it. I want Treasure Planet.
But it was also more of a cult classic thing. Like, I never really got into it until years after it was made.
You know why? Why they should make it? It's just Star Wars. It's Star Wars with like.
It's Star Wars where like humans actually came from Earth.
Yeah, and it's like the spaceships look like pirate ships and stuff like that.
Yeah,
but like. It's such a cool movie. Like, I'm weird. They owned Star Wars and Marvel and all this space stuff. It's weird that they haven't.
They literally made Star Wars and that Treasure Island Muppet movie have a baby.
The Muppet Treasure Island? I used to love that movie growing up. The movie's no joke.
Dude, I used to have a video game on my computer about it.
Muppet Treasure Island?
Yeah.
They had a video game?
Yeah.
Was it good, though?
It was.
Or was it like, eh?
I mean, I was in the third grade, so and video games were new to me. I was entertained by anything.
That's fair. Shh. Silence the computer machine.
Taught me how to play Chinese solitaire, ironically.
Nice. Well, we're talking about Aladdin. We're talking about genies. We're talking about princesses. But before we talk about that, we have a little segment called Movie News, where we talk about news that pertains to movies and I guess video games, or really whatever we want to talk about. There's no rules here, baby.
No, there is not.
Yeah, we take Dayquil at night here. NyQuil at day. Well, if you take NyQuil at the day, you'll just get drowsy.
I don't actually have any video game news today. I'm gonna have to get some tomorrow.
Yeah. Well, the first one I just let you see. I didn't know this, but I let you see the new It Chapter 2 trailer, like the final trailer and stuff. Yeah. And you seemed like it was pretty. You seemed like you liked it, but you also haven't seen the first one.
No, I've not seen the first one. I've seen the originals, and the original they did scare me. Like Tim Curry's It felt like fucking the boogeyman. Like,
yeah. He's good. The rest of that, I don't like anything else about that, though. I don't like the child actors and stuff. It's real. Ugh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this new one, it seems more of a kind of got a versus feel. Yeah. Like they're gearing up for battle against this thing. And in the originals, I believe, if I remember right, they just kind of stumble back in his way.
Yeah. Here they kind of like at the end
they're going after him.
I don't want to like ruin the first one, but at the end of the first one they make like a pact, like a blood pact. That's what that shot of them.
Well, they did that in the original too.
Yeah.
But
I haven't seen the original in so long I can't remember.
And then there's how it all went, how the pact went down in the book.
Yeah. Isn't it like a big sex thing?
Yes, it's an orgy.
They get rid of it.
They just have an orgy.
It's weird. Does she take them all off one by one and like does stuff with them to help them find a way out of the sewers? Why is that in that book?
I don't know, but now I'm kind of interested to read it because we know how Stephen King gives a lot of detail into things.
Yeah, he's talked like.
Oh, he straight up said like I couldn't write this book today.
Yeah, and I think he was like doing a lot of coke at the time, probably.
I mean, there was.
He also doesn't like the movie version of The Shining, so should we listen to him that much about stuff that he says? I don't know.
Yeah, but yet he liked The Langoliers.
Oh my God! Are you serious?
I think he did.
The miniseries, the 5-hour-long miniseries. Yeah. Oh my God! That has got to be one of the worst things I've ever seen. He liked it.
I mean.
I remember at the end, it's like these terrible, like Super Mario era CGI mouths that devour reality. Or some shit.
It's total. They're getting eaten by evil Mr. Pac-Man. Like
it's so bad. Why does he like it? Why did he write it? First of all, does that happen when he writes it? Is the book as boring as that miniseries was?
I mean, to me, all his books are boring. He just goes into like a 13-page detail about a single wall.
Yeah. How many of his books have you read? I'm interested. I've read 2 Stephen King books, and that's it.
I tried to read The Shining. I tried.
he hates. We just said like he hates he hates Stanley Kubrick's version of that movie, which is like considered one of the best horror movies of all time.
Right.
He loves the miniseries of that, which everyone hates.
Really?
Yes, like I mean, not everyone, but like, it's not as good as Jack Nicholson. Here's Johnny. Like it's not as good as that movie. The movie is like seminal.
Well, I mean, that line was improvised. I don't think that line was in the book.
Yeah, like that movie, like the history of that movie is like crazy too. Like he would make what's her face do so many takes. She was pulling her hair out and delirious.
Yeah.
Which really shows in the movie. She's like
he
barely
made the entire cast alienate her. Like no one would talk to her.
Yeah, like Stanley Kubrick. Calm down. You can make good movies and not be a douche, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, so like Stephen King is one of those weird dudes. Apparently, like in Hollywood, he will option his book for a script for like $1. Like if you give him $1, he will let you write it.
If he likes it.
No, like the rule is like he has written so many books and been approached for so many movie adaptations of his books that if you're a screenwriter and you want to write a thing from his books, he'll give you the option for it for $1. Like and just say, fine, just do it. And because most of them don't go anywhere. But they're like this has been a Stephen King deal. Like the last few years, we've got It, we got Dark Tower, which I hear was fine.
I love The Dark Tower.
The movie with Idris Elba. Yeah, I haven't seen it. I hear it was okay. I hear it's too short for how big that book is, and it doesn't capture like how epic that book is or whatever.
I mean, maybe they could have done like a better job in instilling that. They did need more world building.
Yeah,
like there was not enough of that.
Sure, it's probably like trying to do like it's like probably it suffers from Last Airbender syndrome, where you take Avatar: The Last Airbender and you try to stuff it into a 90-minute
book up into at least 2 movies.
Yeah, and he did Pet Sematary. The new they just redid Pet Sematary, which I hear is pretty good, and I think they're doing like a remake of something else that I can't remember. So his movies are like they come in ebbs and flows, and now they're
Pet Sematary was one of my favorites.
Yeah, I've never seen it. I know I'm just so behind on the horror game, man.
Sometimes dead is better.
Yeah. Anyway, but I hear the new one's also okay. So my point is like. Yeah, you should see it. I feel like I'm 99% sure you'd like it. I was very skeptical about it because when they released the first images of like Pennywise and stuff, I was like, oh, he looks too evil and stuff. Like he looks like the whole thing about Pennywise is he's supposed to lure you in with like a jovial, non-threatening sense of calm or whatever. But this guy looked like that clown looks evil. Like
like at least Tim Curry's clown looked like. I mean, it belonged in a. What's his name with the Hitler mustache before it became a Hitler?
Charlie Chaplin?
Yeah, Charlie Chaplin. He looks like he belongs in a Charlie Chaplin stick.
Like a silent movie or some shit like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could agree with that. I actually think that, like, from what I remember of that miniseries with Tim Curry versus the new movie, I think the new movie is better. Like, maybe the Pennywise performance is still good in the new one. It's probably not going to be as iconic, but all the kid actors are better, and, like, the performances are really great. And, like, the stuff with him and Georgie feels a lot more, like, heartbreaking and stuff.
Right.
Yeah, I feel like you should check it out so that way we can do a horror episode on Chapter 2. Apparently, the news is It Chapter 2 is going to be, like, really long. Like,
is it?
Yeah, like over 2.5 hours long.
Jesus.
So, I'm all for it, baby. What's some other? That's the only real big movie news that we had. Apparently, I heard a rumor. I actually hope that this isn't true, but Shazam will not fight Black Adam until Shazam 3, to which I say boo.
Well, I don't know. I mean, that's kind of the way Marvel went with Thanos. Like, they fought his initial Chitauri army in the first one, and in the second one, it was just some other aftermath thing. And
yeah, but like Shazam, Shazam only has like a few other things you can do with him, and I feel like we're all waiting for like, what about the Wizards' first champion? Where's Black Adam at? Like, that's kind of like what I want to see,
right?
And also, Black Adam is getting his own solo movie, so I guess this could be movie news.
It could be leading up to it, maybe.
Yeah. And I'm curious because apparently, do you know who, like, in the comics, there's something called there's the Justice League, and then there's the Justice Society of America.
Yeah.
Sort of like, it's like the Justice League, but it's like older and They drink more Shirley Temples and they listen to more old 50s songs or whatever. They're more classic or whatever.
Yeah.
And apparently, the Justice Society is going to show up in in his movie, which is weird because his origin story is like several thousand years old. So
Right.
I'm worried, like, what's going on with this previous champion?
Maybe it'll be some kind of interdimensional thing, because I remember like there was a Justice League series where they introduced the Justice League of Society, and it was a common comic book in their universe that whatever villain they were after like sucked them into.
Yeah, I remember that episode. It was the Justice Guild or something.
Yeah.
And it was like Tom Turbine and stuff.
So maybe they'll do something like that. That'd be pretty cool.
That'd
like
be cool,
bring
but-
them out of the comic into their world.
I'm not against this idea, but like why choose Black Adam? He's so directly tied to like the Wizard. It would be weird. Like you would think that Black Adam.
Well, I think that'd be a good concept maybe for the second movie.
or for just
Maybe
like,
have him do a collaboration with Superman.
yeah. I mean, that's what I want. I want a Shazam versus a Shazam and Superman versus Black Adam movie thing.
Yeah,
That'd be great.
I mean, they've already done it in animated.
But don't kill Black Adam. Keep him alive. So when like Darkseid comes and like the whatever Justice League movie, you can have like Shazam and Black Adam team up. Some shit like that. Anyway, I'm intrigued. I'm just worried that like, remember in Shazam when like the Wizard tells him the story of his old champion? He was like,
Yeah.
a long time ago. But the Justice Society was like the 1930s, so it's not that long ago. But like, he was like, he used his powers for evil and revenge and released the 7 deadly sins on the world. So like the 7 deadly sins were released in what, like the 30s? Like, what about the other like 2000 BC or whatever?
Yeah, what about when that shit was written?
Yeah, I know. So I'm curious about that, but if I feel like if it just makes sense, I won't care. And
Right.
I want to get to a point where also they released, I don't know if I mentioned this in the last episode. They released a deleted scene from Shazam where like him and the other Shazam family, they're all in their superhero forms and they're at the Rock of Eternity and they sit on their thrones. And
Oh yeah, I did see that.
yeah, and Darla goes, or Mary goes, "Who's that? What's that one for?" Because there's 6 of us, there's 7 thrones. They pan over, and the camera like eerily, kind of slowly zooms in on it. But like, who's that for? And I think Darla says something like, "Well, whoever it's for, I'm gonna love them no matter what, because they're a member of our family." I was like, "Oh, Darla," but I do feel like it's in some way. I feel like at the end, it's gonna be like a contentious battle, but Black Adam is mostly gonna be like an anti-hero, so he'll like begrudgingly sit down on that 7th throne or whatever. I kind of want that. I want him to just, because The Rock has been hyping this up since 2014, 5 years ago.
Yeah,
so he
yeah,
better
he has.
fucking bring it. And like, if he's Black Adam in this connected universe of films, I want him to stick around for a while. You know what I mean?
Right?
All right, that's all the movie news I have. Do you have anything? Do you hear anything? It's fucking, I didn't pay any attention to any of this shit. So they released an Avengers Endgame deleted scene. Where they
where they all take a knee.
Yeah, which I thought was fine.
Yeah, it was fine. I like it. It was better the way they did it.
Yeah. Let's get into what we're talking about. The big Aladdin. Now, as a member of the Middle Eastern community, I hate this movie. No, I'm kidding. So Aladdin is easily.
Just for that, I wish they would have left the original racist line that Robin Williams sang in the first film at the beginning.
What was that? Where the heat is intense and the something.
There's something
immense.
about
it's
how
barbaric but hey, it's home.
Yeah, where they'll cut off your hand and rip off your ear.
Yeah, no, that's not in the original one. It was gonna be.
It was gonna be.
And then they got rid of it, probably for the best, because why? That's a kids movie, ripping off ears. What's the matter with you? But they did change.
It was incredibly
But
racist.
first of all, we should talk about like, I think the original Aladdin is like one of my favorite Disney movies. Might be like my favorite. There are other movies I think I might like altogether more. Like in a weird way, like. I probably like I think Hercules is a better movie or something. Also because it's just Superman. They can't find a baby and we wanted a baby for forever and he has superpowers. Like it's just Superman, but like with
he
ancient
can't
Greek or
fly
whatever.
and do other stuff.
Yeah, but as a movie, like for sheer entertainment value, Aladdin is like it's impossible to be bored by it. So I was weirdly trepidatious.
That's true.
But I was also one of the few people who that I know of who was like, you know what? When they cast Will Smith as a genie, everyone was like, "Oh God, it's gonna be terrible." I was like, "No, I think he's gonna crush it."
Yeah.
I think who else would you pick to do like if you had to like just going in blind, if you had to pick someone to be the genie, not Will Smith, who would you pick? You're recasting Aladdin. I'm gonna edit all this silence out anyway. So just take your time.
Okay.
Like if you're looking at comedic actors, like Bill Hader does a lot of impressions, maybe him. But I don't know if he would strike as cool a figure. Like Will Smith looks better as a genie. Bill Hader's like a skinny Jewish guy.
What about Seth Rogen?
Yeah, but he's like, I don't know if he like cuts an imposing figure. Like Will Smith as the genie is like, he looks like a genie. Like when you'd rub a lamp.
Yeah, but I mean, at the end of the day, when he's in his genie form, he's animated, so you can make him look as intimidating as he needs to be.
But I feel like his face still and his head looks the same. Imagine Seth Rogen's face CGI'd on a rip body. Yeah, I don't know if it works.
Maybe it doesn't.
I'm trying to think, like, what would you do for like a genie-esque character in that kind of a movie? It's tricky. You'd have to pick you could either pick someone who's like over the top handsome and just see if they could pull the comedy out of the hat. Like someone like Armie Hammer, I think could be
Armie Hammer. Yeah, maybe
he's a handsome, like chiseled man. Like I could see him as like a genie or whatever. Or you could go they're not gonna. I never thought they would do this, but I thought the only other way you could do it is make the genie a real serious character, like he's an evil, like not an evil, but like he's like a demigod trapped in this bottle, or something, and make him like a serious.
In that case, I would say Morgan Freeman.
Oh my God, Morgan Freeman. That's not immediately terrible. I wouldn't like. What would you do with this? I would
not dismiss that, even as the sarcastic one.
Yeah. What would you do about? He's funny. He's a funny guy. I've seen him in the Lego movie.
Completely 100% serious as he's joking.
But what do you do about the songs, though? I don't feel like he could sing. That's tricky. It's hard. It's hard. It's like almost like Will Smith is almost the perfect person to cast.
He is.
I think I have a good one. The Rock. Imagine it.
His voice, but he's terrible. He's so monotone, though. Like, have you seen, was that one movie, Moana?
But he's great in that.
Yeah, he's great, but the songs are terrible.
Yeah, but like, imagine like with the songs that we already like, though. We already like Friend Like Me. So like, imagine, and like, he's already big. I feel like he has enough range to where he could be funny and like heartfelt at the same time.
Ooh, no, a Batista. That would just be so hilarious.
Maybe. I don't know. That's like, these are all like, again, my initial impulse is like, I don't know. But like, I don't know about Will Smith. And then like, I kind of won me over. So I'm like, I don't know. Is anything even off limits anymore?
No.
Cast Reese Witherspoon. While we're at it, who cares? Anyway, so like, how much, like, talk about the original. Like, how do you see that in the pantheon of Disney films?
It's up there. Like, I like it better than Snow White.
Yeah. What's your favorite, like, of all the big classic Disney?
All the big classic
What's
Disney
your favorite one?
I want to say it was a Jungle Book.
Yeah? Jungle Book guy?
Yeah.
So you would put, like, Aladdin. So Aladdin is, like, what? Like, in your top 5-ish? Top 10-ish?
Top 3.
Top 3? Top 3.
I
don't even think it's in my top 3, to be honest with you. I feel like...
Yeah, I think it goes... I'd have to say...
Jungle Book?
Yeah, the Jungle Book. Okay. Jungle Book, Fox and the Hound, Aladdin.
Fox and the Hound. Fox and the Hound is a whack movie. I'm sorry. I hate it.
What?
It's so droll. It feels like it's 9 hours long.
It's a drama.
I know, but it feels forever long.
It does. And
it's before Disney, like in like the...
It was very, very sad.
Yeah, in like the late 80s. Aladdin.
I didn't exactly like the interactions with like the animals, because in the cartoons I remember them being more they could actually understand everything about the situation at hand.
Yeah, whereas here it's kind of vague.
Yeah, it's kind of
Are they smarter? Are they just animals?
Are they just well trained? Yeah. Like, because at first, especially with Abu, because at first Aladdin's having an intelligent conversation with him, and then Abu's just still like just a fucking monkey, dude.
Yeah, all the great jokes that Abu does are kind of they're not going to be in here because he's just a regular monkey. Here's what I like about the original Aladdin. For those Disney movies from like 89 to like 2000-ish, like from I don't know, Beauty and the Beast or Little Mermaid to Tarzan. The Disney Renaissance or whatever.
Yeah.
Like those movies, I like all of them. I like Aladdin nearly the most because it's a lot of. This is like a fun movie.
Yeah.
Whereas a lot of the other ones are like real sad. They're real bummers. The Lion King gets real sad for a while.
It does.
So I actually was like wanting I wanted this movie to be like a fun adventure. I wanted it to be like the Pirates of the Caribbean movies, but better, or at least as good as like the first one, because I really liked the first one.
Yeah.
So I wanted it to have like that sense of adventure and stuff. So with that being said, big shoes to fill. To say nothing of Robin Williams. So in a word, what did you think of this movie? I remember what you told me, or do you want me to go first?
You go first.
I kind of loved it, man. I'll be honest with you. It's not the original by any stretch of the imagination. They make changes that I don't like, but they also make changes that I think actually make it better, particularly around like the genie and stuff. But I really liked it. I'm sad that it's not like it didn't get great reviews. It got okay reviews, but I feel like it's better than, I feel like it's better than Beauty and the Beast. I feel like it's more fun than Beauty and the Beast as well.
Yeah.
I feel like having seen an hour of The Lion King before my girlfriend's son threw a fit and we had to take him out of the theater, I feel like it's better than The Lion King. I do feel it's the best live action adaptation so far. Yeah. And I think they're all good, really. Yeah. Except for me, so do I. Except for maybe Cinderella. Cinderella, I think, might be my favorite. I've not. Did they make a live action of Cinderella? Yeah. It was like the first one they did, I think, actually. Really? That one, then Jungle Book, I think. Yeah. It's really good. Well, the first one they actually did was 101 Dalmatians way back when. Oh, my God. I forgot about that. Deep cuts there. Yes. Glenn Close's breaking Oscar performance or whatever. That's Cruella de Vil. That woman is uncannily fit to be Cruella de Vil. Have you heard her laugh in those movies? She is, disturbing. Yes. She was the only good part about those movies, I thought. I was so pissed off that I was 9 years old when it came out. I was so angry that the dogs didn't talk. Yeah. Like, they talk in the cartoon. Just watch the cartoon. The cartoon's the best one. Yeah. Me and my lady watched that with her kid recently, and I was like, this movie's kind of great. The art is so fun to look at, and like it's like right around the time they did Sword in the Stone. Yeah. So there's a lot of the same voice actors in it. Like the lady who plays Madam Mim plays the nanny in 101 Dalmatians. And it's like, I like the feel and that weird World War I era Englandy vibe that it's got. It's fun. Yes, it is. Yeah, and it's like it's a strange little gem. But we're talking about Aladdin. So I mostly loved it. Is what I'm going to say. What did you think? I did love it. It was a great live action adaptation of it. One of my favorites they've done so far. But I do still have some complaints, even though about the Jungle Book I have like none. That was perfect to me. It's perfect for the Jungle Book being it's a whatever story, like for me. Whatever. I know you love it, but I think the Jungle Book is it's a couple of cool songs wrapped around like we got to take him home or whatever. Like it's kind of wrapped around that. But that being said, I found the same. I find the Jungle Book and the new Lion King to be. I feel kind of the same. I spend more time going that bear looks really good than I do being like, wow, the acting and the drama. Right. So like, yeah. I felt they could have done more with the artwork in Aladdin. I feel the genie should have done more shape shifting. Yeah, that'd have been cool. Yeah, just to make. Yeah, well, let's start with the things that we know are good in the movie, and then we'll talk about the bads. I feel like the goods are going to take up most of the conversation. I think Will Smith, this is probably unpopular on the internet, I think he is as good as the Robin Williams genie. For what this movie is, and for what he's asked to do. For what he's brought to the table, I absolutely He's easily agree. The most interesting character. Every time he's on the screen, I'm just like, when can he be back? I want him back. Right, he does steal the show. Yeah, he's got the best musical number, I think, or the best musical numbers all have him in it. I like all the performances. I even like some of the behind the scenes stuff. Like there was an interview, I can't remember if it was Guy Ritchie or whatever, but the idea was that the genie, because at the end of, this movie ends for the genie the same way it ends in the animated one. So this isn't a spoiler. When he gets his freedom, he's turned back into a human, as opposed to in the animated one, he still has powers. He's still a genie. So one of the things said in an interview was that Guy Ritchie, who directed the movie, said, I wanted the genie to be kind of a slave, as like a long time ago, like thousands of years ago or whatever. It's like he insulted the gods, and in order to teach him humility, they gave him like godlike power, but they chained him to the lamp so that he would learn to be humble with his powers or whatever.
Yeah.
So when you see the tattoos on his arms and stuff, that's like the curse or the spell or whatever. Even though that's not mentioned in the movie, it just adds like little cool changes, and I'm like, oh, that's an interesting idea.
It adds a deeper aura. It's kind of it's more subtle world building.
Yeah. I thought all the performances were really good, except for maybe like one or two characters. One of whom, some people actually disagree with me on that one. But I didn't find Jafar particularly menacing. I thought he was fine.
I didn't either. Yeah, he was okay.
But when you think about like in the original one, he's a memorable character with his deep voice and like the way he acts and stuff. Whereas here, he's this kind of soft-spoken like. And I remember in the old one, bring me the lamp.
He's not eccentric enough.
Yeah, but in this one, he's like, bring me the lamp. I will give you treasure. Like it's not.
Yeah, he's just like. He literally is just a devilish little snake slithering around in the corners.
Else he doesn't turn into a snake.
Yeah, he also doesn't turn into a snake. He just acts like one.
Yeah, but so I didn't think he was great. What did you think about the two leads, Aladdin and Jasmine?
I liked Aladdin really well. Jasmine, I think they could have done better with Jasmine.
Yeah. They do give her some new character-y stuff in here.
Yeah. How long did you watch it before you realized that was Sarah Michelle Gellar?
That's not Sarah Michelle Gellar.
That is Sarah Michelle Gellar.
No, it's the pink Power Ranger from the new Power Ranger reboot. I can't remember her name. Naomi Scott, I think, is her name.
I swear to God, that's Sarah Michelle Gellar.
She's like 40 by now. That's not her.
Jennifer Aniston is 50, and she's still.
It's not Sarah Michelle. Let go of this and move forward.
I'm telling everybody it's Sarah Michelle Gellar.
It's not, but it's fine. I'll let you believe that. But I thought they were pretty good for the most part. I liked the new stuff they added to Jasmine. I don't feel like Aladdin got any new character stuff. It all kind of feels the same, but like the stuff.
Yeah, but all of his kind of character arcs really took more or less in the second and third movie, like with the 40 Thieves when he meets his dad.
Which we probably aren't going to see.
We're probably
kind of sucks because I kind of like that movie.
Right? Like, don't do Jafar's Return. I didn't even watch the animated version.
That was literally meant to be the opening to this TV series they made. That animated TV series for a while. That's just like the first episode of that. Although, given how this movie ends, I wouldn't mind seeing Jafar come back in that context. He's more interesting in that way than he is in this movie. So
maybe.
But I like the fact that they focus more on like the political nature of her, and like she's never been out of the palace. She wants to be a ruler. Her dad doesn't think that. That's all stuff they kind of, I guess they hint at it in the original, but I felt it held a lot more weight, and it made her a more interesting character here.
It definitely did.
Some of the bad characters, I was kind of bummed out that Iago was. He's again like you said with the animals. Like all the animals are like
he's just really mimicking what people say. He's not making intelligent quotes.
Yeah, the animals look real, but they're not anthropomorphic enough. They don't have enough human qualities. Like, remember in the original
one? And at the same time, if they're going to be like actual animals, they're not animal enough.
Yeah. You remember like in the original one, like when like they're chasing, it's during the One Step Ahead song or whatever, at the very beginning when Aladdin's getting away from the guards or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
And they're chasing him, and the monkey pulls out a sword, and he goes, he's got a sword! You idiot! We've all got swords! They all pull out their swords.
Oh,
all those little jokes that Abu doesn't get to do because he's just a regular monkey.
Yeah.
And he's not even a particularly good-looking CGI monkey. He looks fine.
Yeah.
For the most part.
He's a little spider monkey.
Raja doesn't get any cool moments.
She doesn't make any cool, like, little banters or makes those cute faces.
Yeah. Iago is the closest we get to that. And,
and he takes the place of a snake. That's what we get.
Yeah, and like he's in the original, he's voiced by comedian Gilbert Gottfried.
Yeah,
with that shrill Jewish voice.
Imagine if they got him to do that again.
It would have been great. They got James Earl Jones for Lion King. Get him for the
right. Like,
and I'm not even just like the dude who plays Iago.
He was dead.
Yeah, the dude who plays Iago is Alan Tudyk, who is he's K2SO in Rogue One. He is he's one of the guys from Firefly. He is I'm trying to think of some more people that he plays. He's Sonny from iRobot, which is another Will Smith movie. He's one of those dude actors. He's got like long orange hair.
Yeah.
And like he's a funny dude. And like in this movie, he just kind of gets like vague little like side comments they'll make you chuckle, but it's not as funny as like Iago's little one-liners, like whenever the Sultan tries to give him a cracker in the original one or whatever,
yeah,
and he just has those evil faces. Yeah, so I didn't think that was particularly great. Let's talk about any other negatives that you had. What did you think of all? I guess this could be either or. There's only one new musical number in this.
I heard 2.
What was the 2?
There was one that Jasmine sang, something about
Speechless.
Yeah, Speechless.
I thought was pretty good.
And there was another one that Aladdin sung, or it was the genie that sung. No, it was Aladdin. Is when he goes back to his loft after he makes the wish. And
yeah, I guess that's a continuation of Riff Raff Street Rat.
Yeah, it's kind of a continuation, but it was like it did have new dialogue in it.
Yeah, and they also added they expanded Arabian Nights.
Yes,
for
they
Will
did.
Smith, which made it like way longer. And am I missing another one? No, they hadn't. And there's Aladdin's Getaway Song, and I think that's all of them. I still feel like I like the new one a lot. I still feel like the best song in this thing is still Friend Like Me.
Yeah.
I still love that song. And it's the most fun to watch visually. Like A Whole New World is still a great song, but it sounds just as good as I remember it.
It does. I thought that was more visually, I don't know, kind of compelling.
A Whole New World?
Yeah.
Why?
Just because.
Defend yourself! No, I'm kidding.
Just because of the scenery behind it all, going through the waterfall in different parts of the world.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
It's just, I don't know, something I always kind of, when I see collages like that, it just kind of always attracts me because I think it's because of my ADD, is just seeing so many different things.
Yeah. And it ties into
fluidly.
like some of Jasmine's characters. She wants to live among the people so she can be a better ruler. So,
Yeah.
And the thing she's sailing around Agrabah, sort of living their lives and stuff. So I feel like that's a kind of cool aspect. But I'm just saying during A Friend Like Me, we get like so many like cool trippy sequences where the genie's a big guy looking inside the big tent, and then there's a little genie inside, like little stuff like that I thought was really cool. Did you feel let's talk about like our favorite pieces that are in the original and then our favorite things that they added, particularly with the genie. They keep a couple of like my favorite jokes that he does as the genie, and then they add some new ones that I like as well. Like one of the ones that I remember is like when he's explaining the rules of the wishes and stuff, and he's like, "There's 3 things I can't do." It's like rule number 1. He's like, "I can't kill anybody," and he cuts his head off or whatever.
Yeah.
And this one, I can't remember what he does in this one. But I remember rule number 2 is I can't make anyone fall in love. Rule number 3, and he becomes like a gross green zombie. He's like, I can't bring anyone back from the dead.
I don't like doing it.
Yeah. And in this one, Will Smith becomes a giant mummy, which I thought was very funny. Like I liked hearing all those old jokes told in like new funny ways, and I like the moments. The best moments of this movie with him are like when he's allowed to do his own things that the genie would do. For example, there's in the original one.
I love when he first pops out. Like, dude, can we get out of this cave? Like, please. Like, dude, I am a navy blue. Like, look at this. This is sky blue.
I remember in the original way he gets out of the cave in the first one is like Aladdin has to trick him into doing it. Where in this one they actually make I thought they improve upon that by making, I mean, though, like it's funny watching Robin Williams turn into Ralph Cramden and get all mad. They make a rule that says you have to be touching the lamp when you cast your wishes.
Yeah.
And then he says,
I did like that.
Yeah, and then he says, "All right, well, get me out of this cave or whatever," and he does it. And then and then there's literally a part where he goes, "All right, you got 2 wishes." He goes, "No, I have 3 wishes." How do you have 3? And he goes, "Well, you said I had to be touching the lamp, right?" And he goes, "Well," and he goes, "Hold on," and he rewinds it, and it shows the genie sitting in a movie theater chair, like in the old 50s movies or whatever, as he watches the monkey take the lamp while Aladdin makes his wish.
I see what you did.
The lamp.
Oh.
You really feel like an all-powerful being who has like the power of a demigod or whatever would be like very angry that you like misused his power or whatever, or like he's all these amazing powers, but he has to give you a free wish. Doesn't that feel a little silly sometimes? If you were a genie and I managed to get a free wish from you, wouldn't the laws of the universe like require you to be like, no, you have 2 wishes, not 3?
No, I would not be mad at that at all, because that is more time I get to spend outside of the lamp.
I guess that's technically true. Don't bring logic into this. That's not how we're doing this. Yeah, I even like the bit that he played, a new bit that he does in the movie that's not in the original. When he originally comes out and he goes, "Oh, great one who summons me, I stand by my oath, loyalty to wishes 3." And it's like a very like intimidating, imposing, like almighty figure.
Yeah.
And then he goes like, he's looking down at Aladdin and he goes, "Psst." He's like, "Where's the guy?"
There's a guy.
There's always a guy who wants the lamp, and he's like,
Yeah.
wants world domination or whatever.
Yeah, he wants money, world domination. You know what the fuck? There's always got. Just, where you go get it.
Did you like the fact? They do this in the original, but did you like the fact that the genie? I felt more in this one than the other one, than the original one. The genie likes Aladdin, and because he likes Aladdin, he's willing to sort of bend the rules a little bit for him.
He is with a little thing he likes to call
Gray area.
A lot of gray area in that wish.
Yeah, I like it. But it also implies that, like, if he didn't like Aladdin, he would interpret his wishes, like, in the way that would get him through the process quicker or whatever.
Yeah.
Because there are literally moments in this movie where he says, there's a part in the movie where he says, "I don't even care about those wishes. Like, I have never had a master that I did X for or whatever." And I actually really liked that. I actually like that more than the Robin Williams one, because in the Robin Williams one, you just feel like, oh, he's a happy-go-lucky guy. Who cares?
But
like, he'd be like that
Will
with
Smith
anybody.
actually
almost.
brings a bit to that character that he's actually a very sad and lonely person.
Yeah, and like he kind of like there's a part like early on. There's a part when he gets wished out of the lamp, and he tells him like, "Oh, don't try wishing for like all the money in the world or whatever. Those kinds of wishes always end terribly or whatever." Like he's giving him like the cheat sheet or whatever to like get better wishes or whatever. And I feel like he wouldn't. I feel like the only reason he would do that was because like he likes him or whatever. But he does that almost like within a few minutes of meeting him or whatever.
Yeah, because he's not that guy.
Yeah.
He just instantly is like, "Oh, so you rub the lamp."
And I like the fact that when he does that, he gives him a diagram to show him how powerful he is. And he goes like, like it's like a little drawing, and then it's like me way up here, Sultan, and then he goes like you, like it's like a big giant tiered thing. I would have gone like me, Sultan, ant, and then like you, or whatever, just to add insult to injury or whatever. There is apparently, I don't know for sure if Will Smith does this in the movie, but I think he does. Do you remember? It's in the trailers. It's not a spoiler. Where he goes, "Can you make me a prince?" And he goes, "There's a lot of gray area in make me a prince." He goes, "I could just make you a prince."
Yeah, that was in the movie.
Yeah, and then the prince appears on like a cliff in the 300 yards in the distance or whatever, and he goes, "Y'all see my palace?" and in the movie, as they keep talking, the prince is still there, looking around, being like, "Man, I just want to go home, man." Like you literally hear him say that in the background. I'm 99% sure that's Will Smith as the other prince.
It could be.
And I think that the reason they chose him is because he was in the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. So they made a prince, and that's his character from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and he wants to go home. I think, I could be wrong, but I think that's it.
It could be.
Would that be wouldn't that be genius though, if that's true?
That would totally be genius.
That's hilarious. You're not going to see that in Lion King, baby. But I think all the, what did you think of like the visual effects of the genie himself? Because there was a lot of people complaining about that on the internet. When that first clip showed up, a lot of people were like, "Boo, I hate it." 1.5 million memes. There's Avatar memes, Sonic the Hedgehog memes,
Dude, I thought
other
the visuals
memes.
were great.
So many memes. I actually thought I was one of the very few, like when I first saw him in that clip, when they first released it, I was like, I think he looks fine. I think he looks like how else should he look? Or whatever. I thought he looked great. And I even think he looks better when like it's bright out or whatever, when he's not trapped in that cave, so he can like do all of his cool like transition-y effects, like whenever he like snaps his fingers and they whoosh back into like the tent or whatever when they get out. All the little interesting ways like the genie would get you from point A to point B. Those are all the stuff that like I felt made the movie like more interesting and stuff.
I really loved how they just completely added a whole new sequence, like with the party and everything.
Yeah, that's great.
That was it was great.
Yeah, I even like So do you, do you remember like in the original, like this is like a minor quibble, I guess. When I'm watching, like, there are parts of this movie when I look at like the actors and like the background actresses or whatever, and I kind of look like this doesn't look like real life. This looks like sets and like clothy costumes. Did you ever get any of that, like particularly during like Prince Ali?
I mean, I kind of did, but at the same time, I also kind of chalked it up to that theory about the movie.
It's a Disney movie or whatever.
Yeah,
so
to where how like he makes so many references
to people that don't even exist yet or whatever.
Yeah,
or wouldn't exist.
So how that it could possibly be like a what is that? Some kind of futuristic utopia.
Or like a different dimension of reality. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, that's all well and good. But when I was there were parts of the movie when I would look at the city and I'd be like, oh, that looks really cool. It looks like a Disney, it looks like in a good way sometimes and in a bad way sometimes. In a good way, I would be like, oh, this is like the Disney, the Middle East via Disney. And then I would be like, this is the Middle East via Disney, like in a bad way. Like where like just like some of the costumes looked silly and didn't look like you would go back 1,000 years and they wouldn't look like that.
It was still more or less bringing out the magic that they originally animated into the big screen.
Yeah, I guess if you made it everyone wearing hijabs and stuff and like it looked grungy or like the Crusades or something, people would be like, it's a racist movie or whatever. Like
probably.
The Middle East has way nicer stuff than that.
But see, I also think that's how Disney gets away with racism, by just making it so outlandish and cartoonish that like, Disney's been doing that for years.
Yeah.
They're fine.
I'm trying to think here. I guess we're ready for spoilers. You want to start talking about like any like specific stuff? We'll talk about like the movie follows the plot basically the same. There's a couple of new things they add. We'll start with spoilers and I'll talk about a good thing. I like the way they changed just slightly how the genie gets his freedom.
Yes.
So you know how like in the original he's like, genie, and he says you're free, and then it just happens. And in the other one, you know the psych out is coming, like where he says, Al, just use your last wish. I can scrub that little law out of the Constitution or whatever document they have. And you think he's gonna wish it, and then he says, I wish for your freedom or whatever, and it just kind of ambushes him. I really felt that kind of like my heart hurt just a little bit. I was like, oh, he's getting his freedom, man.
Right? He even has that kind of confused look on his face, like, you what? Like,
yeah,
I don't actually know how to do that one myself.
Yeah. I genuinely like the little things like that they add. I like the fact that like in the original one, the genie is like, well, you've lied to everybody else to get what you wanted, so why wouldn't you lie to me? And he goes back into his lamp or whatever.
Yeah.
I like that in this one, this is like after he saves his life or whatever. He says, I don't even care about those wishes. I'm just sad that like you've let this power change you or whatever, or you've let it. I can't remember exactly what he says, but you've let it make you a worse person or whatever, and it goes away because of that. I like that the genie is like I'm not even like Robin Williams' performance is iconic, but like I like that the genie feels more selfless here than he does in the original one in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. But that also kind of grounds him more as being human in the live action.
So when he gets his powers taken away, like, oh, he knows what those feelings would mean or whatever. I like all that stuff. What did you think of Will Smith singing?
He didn't do bad.
Yeah. I was really kind of worried that as the movie was gonna go on, like that, like, or like, so like in that first trailer, we see a little snippet of Friend Like Me, and it's kind of that rap singing, talking thing.
Yeah.
Where I don't hear him singing a lot, but you only hear like a few lines of it. and I was worried that it was just going to be that the whole movie. But no, like for Arabian Nights, he actually sings, and I was like, I genuinely like I breathed a big sigh of relief when that happened.
Right?
Like,
you thought he was
thank
just going to
God.
come in and just start beatboxing the whole thing?
Yeah, and I don't like even like the rap part of "Friend Like Me," the new part they added. I didn't even hate that. I thought it was fine. Do you like the fact? Did you like the fact that they added the maid character?
Did they what?
The maid character, Jasmine's maid.
Yeah. Oh,
They use her as like a foil with the genie.
I did. I think it fit really well.
Yeah, I did too. I thought it was funny. Do you like the fact? Do you like the fact that after Prince Ali's song and they come into the palace, he's terrible at using his wealth to be impressive?
Yes, he's just. We've got jams.
We've got all sorts of jams, and Will Smith's like, move away from the jams. And he says something like, in 10,000 years,
I've never been more embarrassed.
Never been more embarrassed than this in my life. I'm gonna look up if I can see any other changes from the original to talk about here. I'm gonna edit this stuff out so it doesn't matter. Go get off.
Oh. See, what other changes did they have?
Disney's Aladdin. Oh, we don't get a giant snake at the end.
Yeah, we don't get that.
Did you? I mean, it's not as good as the snake, but did you like the giant parrot?
I liked the scene. It was a great idea.
It's fine,
but I think it would have been so much better if
Fight
it
the
was
snake!
a giant Gilbert Gottfried coming after them.
like a human Gilbert Godfrey. Like maybe they zap a person.
No, like I want
Gilbert.
Gilbert Gottfried just chasing him in his fucking voice. I'm gonna get you. I
Well,
can't
what
do
if
his
they like
fucking voice.
zapped a dude walking by on the street and he like Jafar picks a guy and zaps him with his mask and
He just becomes into
he turns
Gilbert Gottfried.
40-foot tall Gilbert Gottfried.
the purple
love that.
suit and everything?
That'd be great. Disney's Aladdin changes. See like some other stuff that they added. So we can talk about it. Changes.
They changed Aladdin's second wish
What is his second wish? What are you talking
to
about?
not die.
Well, Aladdin doesn't. Yeah, that's another. That they did change that. That's right. That's another example of like things that they changed that were like things to do with the wishes.
Yeah,
like,
I
that
don't even remember what his second wish was in the original.
No, in the second one, it is to not die. But the way it happens is okay. Like like he goes into the ocean. He sees his lamp as he's chained up and like his mouth is gagged. And he tries to reach his lamp, but he passes out before he can. But his fingers graze the lamp, bringing out the genie. The genie is like, oh, you get in the tub, and wouldn't you know it, there's a rub at the lamp. He turns around and he sees Al like drowning. He's like, oh my God, Al! And he goes, like, you can't weasel your way out of this one. I can only save you if you make a wish. And he goes, I need you to say, Genie, I need you to save my life. And he goes, come on, Aladdin. And Aladdin just like his head kind of nods down like that. And he goes, that'll have to do. And he said like, oh, you nodded your head. That counts. So he does that. In this one, they make a bigger deal out of it. The genie makes a contract authorizing, assuming that he would rather be alive than dead. And he makes a contract.
He's
he
like, I
signs
just
it,
need your little signature that will work.
and then he saves his life. Yeah. I actually like I like it a lot. I like both of those, but I like how in the original he makes a funny joke. So like when he gets him out of the water, he goes, "Oh, Genie, thanks." And he goes, "Oh, Al," and he goes, "I'm quite fond of you." And he goes, "Not that I want to pick out curtains or anything." It's like a funny little gay joke in there. In this one, I can't remember if there's a joke or anything, but I like the way they do it in the new one more than they do it in the old one. I also, if we're talking about like wishes, the way Jafar is tricked, the genie uses his more of his agency again. Like in so in the original one, his
they're a lot
actual
more
wording,
subtle in the trickery in this movie. Like they're not just full blown. Oh, this is obviously a trick.
Yeah. So in the original one, Jafar's official last wish is, I wish to be
an all-powerful genie.
Yes. And he goes, for my third wish, I wish to be an all-powerful genie. And he goes, your wish is my command. And he does it.
Yeah.
And this one, Aladdin, I also liked the way that like it's not handled well. It's handled well, but Jafar is kind of a boring character in this, so I just didn't care as much.
Yeah.
But I like the part where he's like, "Yeah, you're still second best. And if you're not the most powerful person in the room, you're nothing or whatever." Just like he says to him earlier, and he goes, "What?" And he goes, "He serves me. He's my prisoner." And he goes, "Fine." And he goes, "I wish to be the most powerful being in the universe." So, and again, if the genie didn't care, the genie could make him the most powerful one in the universe, but because he likes Aladdin, he goes, "Oh, there's a lot of gray area in that one, but I think I can help you out." And he turns him into a genie, which I think is awesome. Also, I heard this mentioned, I can't remember where I heard this, but I think it's very apropos and like very, like probably true. So in the original one, like I think the idea is that someone said like Jafar is obsessed with muscles in the original one. Here's the reasoning for this. So when he summons whenever Aladdin summons the genie,
Yeah.
he looks like, the way he usually looks but in the original one, whenever Jafar summons the genie, like, and he asks him to like lift Agrabah out of the sky and put it on a mountaintop or whatever, or I wish to rule on high as Sultan. The genie gets like all big and scary and like he's got like biceps or whatever. You know what I'm talking about? And whenever Jafar turns into the genie, he's like shredded and he's got like big muscles.
Yeah.
I feel like they were trying to say something that Jafar has like a body insecurity or whatever.
Maybe. Or
I mean, like, probably not. I'm just saying it's a funny thing to think about. I can't remember where I heard it.
That'd just be weird.
Yeah.
That would just be, yeah.
I like that when he becomes. What did you think of like him as a genie? Like when he becomes a genie, like how he looked and everything. Did you like that? Not in the original. This one.
I feel there's a bit of a lack of imagination.
Yeah.
With it.
I feel like Will Smith looks more interesting. He's got the golden tattoos on his skin and everything. I would have been like, you have the opportunity to do. Also, I would have felt like they should have used. Maybe this would have been stupid. Like, one, you have an opportunity to make anything. You can make him look however you want.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. It's like make him look however you want him to look. I felt they missed an opportunity to like have a genie off, like who's the more powerful genie or whatever.
We actually already know the answer to that.
Why? How? What?
Because
Explain.
His wish. He wished to be the most powerful being in the universe. So Genie had to make him a more powerful genie than him.
But doesn't that mean the genie has the power to make things more powerful than himself? Doesn't that by logic mean that he is more powerful? Isn't that like a? I mean, again, we're talking about magic and nonsense.
That's another thing that would probably fall under the rules of the wish. Just remember, he.
So Aladdin could theoretically wish for the genie to be more powerful. I mean, he wouldn't.
I think logically, by that logic, yes, I think he could.
Could Aladdin just like? Here's the thing. I don't know if this is doable. Can Aladdin like use those 3 wishes and then just grab the lamp and give it to the next person standing next to him? Be like, there, now you have 3 wishes. Use your last one to wish him free. Is that ever addressed in these movies? What happens when your wishes are used up?
Yeah, that's a good point.
I'm just saying.
Yes, it could be like, hey, like we have an opportunity to make us much more better off for us and you.
Yeah, just be like, all right, so we've done all this. Here's Jasmine. Jasmine, your first wish for like 1,000,000 pieces of gold. The second wish, make me taller. The third wish him free. Like, or whatever, something like, I don't know, something like that. And it's never like, does the lamp vanish? What happens if you lose possession of the lamp and then you get it back after your 3 wishes? Are they done? I mean, I guess they would be done.
Yeah, I think they would still be.
It's weird that we're spending so much time dissecting the logic of this illogical, magical universe. You'd feel like that would be
once
a
you
thing.
use 3 wishes, like even if the lamp went on to someone else and came back to you, I don't think that would work.
He'd be like, wait a minute, I have a ledger here. You're already 2 wishes in, pal. Yeah. I feel like it would have been funner to like have Aladdin use a sword and fight the creature, fight the giant cobra.
Yeah.
They don't even make a big deal out of that. Like he looks like a snake in the cartoon, and then like I did like that the fact that whenever he uses his snake staff, like it gets all creepy and like his eyes
Yeah, it
glow
does.
red, and it's a cool little effect and whatever. I like the way magic kind of looks in this universe, I guess. I just really would have liked to see a giant cobra. That's the only thing I want. Like giant snakes it's a pretty cool thing. Yeah. Anything else? Anything else that you have?
I'm not sure I have anything else.
Okay. Yeah. I would say it's a pretty great movie. It's probably, out of all the Disney movies I've seen of these live action ones, it's probably my favorite. If you like the original, I feel like it's hard to watch this one and not enjoy it.
No, you can't just not enjoy this one. Even if you're one of those naysayers, like if you're not enjoying this movie as you're watching it, stop lying to yourself.
Yeah.
Like go get therapy.
Because I feel like all the Disney live action remakes that I don't like are the ones where it's exactly the same. This one's not exactly the same. The things that they add genuinely make it better, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, baby. I don't have anything else to add.
What would you rate it?
My thing is, on this podcast, I hate doing number ratings.
I know, that's why I'm making you do
I know.
it.
I usually just say listen to what I said, and that's what I feel. But I would give it like an 8. It's like it's solid. It's the only thing I would have wanted more is like more. It feels like there's not a lot of action per se, and I would have found a way to. That's why I said we should have had a genie off. Who's the more powerful, unstoppable being?
Right, but I mean that's also would have been just kind of an obvious way to go.
Yeah. But why not? We didn't get to see it in the first one. Have the genies fight each other. Or have the genies fight, like, make that his second wish. Make him, instead of, why would he want to be Sultan, then realize, like, I could just be a sorcerer and have all this power? And then the second wish he uses, or like, I don't know, find a bullshit reason for his first wish. And then, like, he tries to fight the genie as a sorcerer, and he can't win or something. And then he erroneously gets hold of it for a while and wishes to be a genie. And then that's the turn. I don't know. Some reason for them, like, to use the genie as like an action sequence. Because I feel like it's mostly, we don't get a lot of that. And, like, them running away from the bird is fine, but it's not as fun as fight. Like, we needed a big action thing.
We needed a big snake.
Speaking of big action things, what would you rate? Do you want to rate it?
I would give it. I'd give it an 8 as well.
An 8 as well.
Yeah, I mean it's just got something for everyone there.
Good songs.
Yeah,
I like the songs.
There's the music, the magic, the atmosphere. I mean, no one can not watch this movie and not smile.
Yeah. One cool thing about the songs, they were apparently they were written or contributed, like there's some of them are the old songs, but like a lot of the new stuff was done by the guys who did The Greatest Showman. I don't know if you saw that movie.
I have seen that movie.
Yeah, it's good songs. So I thought that helped as well. Yeah, Disney's Aladdin. Go out and see it. It's pretty good, I think. If you don't like it, then fine, I guess, but I disagree with you. Last thing, I went and saw Brightburn. I wanted to talk about this.
Bastard.
A little bit. Do you want to talk about this? Do you have any questions? Do you want to know anything? Do you want me to spoil it for you? Or
I want to know does he have a big weakness like Superman?
Yeah.
Did they discover a weakness?
Yeah, but it's not like there's a green rock. Like it's not that.
It's nothing like that.
I mean, it's dumb. It's.
Oh God! Don't tell me it's like signs where they're allergic to water.
No, it makes sense because it is a weakness that Superman would have in some versions of the story or whatever. I just feel like it's not as interesting, and I feel like why would you even think that? Even if that is a weakness, why would you think that's your chance to win? It feels like in the movie, like. When I saw that as the weakness, I would be like, even if you get the perfect shot with this, like you have one chance to use it essentially on this kid. Even if that's true, what are the chances that he will die immediately and not rip you in half or melt you with his heat vision? He does have heat vision in this, by the way. I don't know if you've seen the clip.
What about ice breath?
No. Well, we don't know. He keeps getting new powers and stuff. Because you see in one of the trailers, you see him get like real mad, and he's in the rain. And he goes, and you see his heat vision light up.
Yeah.
And then it cuts to like the title card or whatever. in one of the trailers. So he has heat vision, flight, super strength, although it's not always clear how strong his super strength is. I feel like the problem with this movie is it's a little too vague, and it kind of it doesn't focus enough on the superhero aspect of this. It focuses more on the horror aspect. I feel like they could have done a better job at being like this, because the genre is like superhero horror. It's what they call this movie now. It's like a new genre James Gunn has created. And I feel like, where's the superhero part of this? It's just like he has superpower. We've had horror movies of people that had
horrors.
We've had that before. And I feel like the aspects of this movie that I was like, there's a lot of cool death scenes that are pretty horrible and like, oh god, that's terrifying. Because the whole point of this movie is you compare him to Superman, and the idea behind Superman is that he lands on this planet. He has these amazing powers, but what makes him a great hero or just a good man in general is he's found by people that instill in him a sense of value and in a sense of like a great sense of ethics.
Yeah.
You would think, like, if you're going to do a horror movie about Superman, it'd be like, oh, what if he's founded by, like, people who don't instill that in him, or that are
what if he grows up in a trailer park, like,
to child abusers or something?
Yeah, or heroin
and then
addicts.
when he finally gets his powers, he uses them in ways that are
to melt the syringes in their blood,
or something just like that's vindictive and selfish.
Yeah.
And then it goes from there. You don't really get that in this movie. At no point did I look at those parents and be like, oh, they made the wrong decision there. Like they sort of make, for the most part, they make the right decisions all the way through. And I just feel like the only reason he's evil is basically because the plot says he needs to become evil so he can do terrible things.
Yeah.
There is like one.
Like, was he bullied and stuff in school?
Not really. Like, there's just one part. There's one part where some kid goes, he answers a question about a wasp, which I feel like that is only included in there so we can look at him and be like, oh, his outfit is kind of inspired by a wasp. The face mask is inspired kind of by a wasp.
Yeah.
But there's a part where he says, oh, wasps are predators. They'll pursue people and kill them and take over their nests and blah-bitty-blah-bitty. Like, but a bumblebee won't do that. And then some kid goes, you like bugs, huh? You're an idiot, or whatever, or something like that. I was like, great soul-crushing insult there. But, like, no, like, he's not really bullied. He's mostly just, like, he does, and when he does something that is worthy of, like, someone calling him on his bullshit or whatever. Like, there's a part where he goes to, like, there's a girl he has a crush on in school, and there's a part where he goes to her room and terrifies her.
So he's not even a likable character.
I feel like he starts out like a normal kid, and then the plot says he must become weird and distant now. And it's, you remember when we were talking about it, and I was like, this movie is eventually going to do like there's that comic book called Invincible where it's kind of the same thing. There's a kid whose dad is basically like a Superman character. And then the kid is growing up, and then he realizes, oh, he turns 16 or 18 or something, which means his powers start to blossom.
Yeah.
And then his dad shows up as that character and says, I'm actually your dad. You've never known it till now, but I'm Omni-Man, and you're my son, and we're sent from this alien race to conquer the planet, and blah, 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 blah. And that's where the conflict comes from. That's not unlike what happens in this movie. As soon as he starts to get his powers, his personality starts to change, and it basically comes from the fact that the ship that brought him here sends like a signal out to make him change or whatever. Which is just not. It's not. This movie is not boring, and there's a lot that's good about it, but it's just not as interesting as like. There's other things you and I would think of right now as we're talking that would be more interesting. There's a lot of, apparently this is technically a sequel to another James Gunn movie. Do you remember the movie he did called Super?
No.
With Rainn Wilson and Ellen Page. It's like a guy, like, what if superheroes were real? But it's just like a guy who thinks he's a superhero and he beats people up. And he's called like the Red Wrench or something.
That sounds like Kick-Ass.
It's like Kick-Ass, but it's less cool and fun and less action-packed.
No, I've never seen it.
It's a guy with a wrench who just beats people up, but it's not like he's not fighting.
Boring.
He's not like, you remember in Kick-Ass how there's that really cool sequence where
sounds
Nicolas
like
Cage
the first Fast and Furious movie without the cars.
So you remember in in Kick-Ass, there's that scene where like Big Daddy, played by Nicolas Cage, storms that group of mobsters and murderers and fights them in that warehouse.
I love that scene.
It's cool. There's nothing like that in Super. It's just like I'm a guy who has no knowledge of how to fight.
Oh, God.
It's just bad. There's a picture of that guy, of the Red Wrench or whatever he's called. I can't remember the movie. There's a picture of him in the movie. So this is a sequel to that. It's in the same world.
It's not okay. It's I wouldn't call that a sequel. I would just say it's another movie that exists in that world.
At the end of this movie,
that's most of what Quentin Tarantino's movies are.
Yeah, at the end of because I think like the what's it called? The Kill Bill movies are a TV show.
Yeah, it was a pilot that was actually explained in Pulp Fiction.
Yes, where like there's like 5 badass women or whatever, and it's supposed to be the Viper Squad or whatever. Yeah. At the end of Brightburn, it ends first of all, I was right about how it would end, and I like that. At the end of the movie, the post-credit sequence, there's a insane like Alex Jonesy kind of dude talking about like there are these superheroes among us and we have to get it together or it's going to be too late, and he's warning us, and he goes, we hear about this half man half fish creature living out in the ocean destroying ships, so it's like an evil Aquaman. There's this evil witch who strangles people with her magical ropes. It's like an evil Wonder Woman. There was one more that I forgot about, but it kind of sets up other evil analog sort of superheroes.
Huh.
That is really interesting to me. And
seriously,
at the end
how did they not get a copyright slap?
Well, I mean, because they're generic. Because you could say that's just Superman, but then be like, well, Marvel has a character that's exactly like this. Why isn't it like the Sentry?
That's true.
Why isn't this half man, half fish Namor instead of Aquaman? So unless both companies teamed up and said you're infringing our like unless that, which will never happen. So like
no.
And also like there's plenty of superheroes that are kind of like Superman-ish, published by other third-party comics all the time. Like Invincible is like a Superman-y type character.
Right, I've never even heard of that one.
Yeah, it's by the guy who wrote The Walking Dead. Those comics, Robert Kirkman. Yeah. There's a comic book called Irredeemable, which is done by Boom Comics, I think, and it's literally the same idea. What if there was a Justice League, and then the head sort of superhero of that Justice League became like really evil, like genocidally evil, and it's like he's so they're so afraid of him they won't even talk in their house because he can hear you from halfway around the world. So they would write stuff on papers and stuff and hand it to them whenever they were talking about him. Like the idea of an evil Superman is not even a particularly new one. Not to mention like Injustice is literally about like, evil Superman or whatever. It's a good movie. I don't want to ruin the ending, and I don't want to ruin like some of the kills and the death scenes. I feel like they really pulled their punches on when to use his powers, and like there's a lot of cool stuff. And also this movie is done on a small budget, so the level of like how good some of the effects look when he's flying or whatever are not always amazing. Which is look, Man of Steel was made for $220 million. This movie was made for about $16 million. So it's a lot less resources. It's pretty good. I hope they make a sequel in some capacity because I would want to see it. That is all I have to say, baby.
And that pretty much wraps it up.
Yeah, I was going to let you do it.
I have been Emmett.
I have been Rob. Please subscribe to us on YouTube. Check us out on Facebook and all sorts of goodies. And the next episode, I don't know what the next episode or movie will be. Maybe Spider-Man.
You want to go with Spider-Man Far, Far From Home?
Probably Far, Far From Home?
Yeah.
It was just Far From Home. Probably be Far From Home because it's probably the next one that I want to see anyway. So, yeah. You keep listening to this or I'll find you.
And we will kill you.
Bye-bye.